My name is Richie Matthews. I've acquired 60 Airbnb properties in under 3 years without buying any of them, earning over $6 million. I've split tested every possible encounter with landlords and guests to answer one question. What's the fastest way to earn $10,000 or more net monthly profit on Airbnb? And how to do it with no experience. I found the solution and created a 4-step system, which I've taught to hundreds of my mentorship clients around the country. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT and AirDNA to find the best cash flowing markets in the United States and how to do it quickly. In fact, my entire system is based around time and cash management. Who has all the time in the world to do market research and acquisitions and managing your properties and automation? In fact, those are the 4 steps of my system. We're going to focus today on step 1, which is market research, most specifically in cash flow analysis, how I determine if a market will cash flow. And again, I'm going to use ChatGPT and AirDNA to quickly show you how you can do the same. You're going to need to open up AirDNA, so you go to airdna.co. And also, you have to have a ChatGPT account. You don't have to have a paid account. You can just be on the free version of it, but you're going to need both of those tools. Now, I use AirDNA to find out what other hosts are making gross monthly revenue, what other hosts are making in whatever market we're looking in. And then I use ChatGPT now to determine what the rents are in that market, and I compare the two data. Now, before we get going, I just want to explain about ChatGPT. For 4.5 years, I've been using Rentometer. Rentometer is a very accurate tool for determining what the median rent is in a given market. And so I don't look for average markets. I look for median rent from a data standpoint. There could be outliers, low rent or high rent that could kind of mess up your average. So we look for median rent. Rentometer can give you a very accurate assessment of a market, but here's the issue that we've been encountering in most of 2024. This year, rents are fluctuating big time in the apartment model. Now, I don't do rental arbitrage in single family homes. I don't recommend it. I would tell you to run away from anybody talking about where you can lease a house and then sublease it after you furnish it. The ROI profile on that is disastrous. You might as well just buy the house. It's going to cost you $50,000 to furnish a house. So don't do it. It's not a good business model. I could go on and on about that. In fact, I have other videos if you want to look at them in my library here about how single family homes don't work. And I don't know a single arbitrager that's doing this at scale that has tons of homes. Rentometer allows you to find out what the median rent is, but the problem is the minimum look back time is 3 months. And in fact, in a lot of markets, they're going to make you look back 6 months. Comparing 6 months of data or even only 3 months of data can be forever if a market is in flux. And so I'm seeing in many markets in Southern California, all over Florida, in Texas, in the Northeast, in a lot of apartment markets, we're seeing rents fluctuate. They're either going up or going down drastically. So 3 months can be too long of a data window to look at, and it can be inaccurate. So I've been looking on ChatGPT. The other benefit of using ChatGPT is that actually ChatGPT cross-references a bunch of different sources, not just Rentometer. It looks at Rent Cafe and Apartments.com and Redfin and a lot of really good sources that Rentometer also uses. In fact, it actually uses Rentometer as well. And so it cross-references those and only looks back 30 days. So you're getting about as accurate as median rent data as possible. And the other benefit of ChatGPT, it's super quick. It can take you about 10 minutes on Rentometer, which is not long. It's part of the reason why I really like it forever. It can give you a nice assessment of a market. Still can, but I'm always looking for ways to save myself time. I believe rental arbitrage and business in general is as much about cash management and time management as it is about the mechanics of what someone's teaching you. So let me teach you about this part of it. So step 1 is create a ChatGPT account. You go there. Step 2 is open up and create an AirDNA account. You can do it for free. Step 1 is hit clear in your market assessment. Now we're going to look at markets. So I'm going to go pick on Nashville. So I'm going to go over to Nashville and just pull that up in the search window, go over to listings and then put in your property types. And in my case, I like 2 bedrooms. That's the 60 rental arbitrage properties that I've acquired. The vast majority of them are 2-bedroom apartments. So now I'm looking at accommodates 1 to 6 people. In a 2-bedroom, it's 6 people, 4 adults and 2 kids, or vice versa. That's what it is. And then you go over to bedrooms. You want to go 2 bedrooms, and then you always want 2 baths. You don't want a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. That's heads and beds. That's how we get paid. That's how we optimize our listings. Always look for a 2-bedroom market. And so we're going to go to 2-2, click on apartments, and entire place. Hit apply. Now go back to listings. I don't just go over to performance before I hit apply. You're going to change your data. Now the next very important thing we're going to do is go mid-scale, upscale. This is going to give us pinpoint accurate data on AirDNA. You don't click view all. I'm not the budget or economy market, and the luxury apartment rental arbitrage market doesn't exist. So hit mid-scale, upscale, hit apply. Now we're looking at Nashville submarkets that are 2-bedroom, 2-bath, mid-scale, upscale apartments or condos. That's what we're looking at. It's telling us there are 16 submarkets. It's not a massive market, but guess what? 16 submarkets to go through all that data will take you all day. What we're next going to do is we're going to ignore AirDNA's market score. It's an arbitrary score. I don't agree with it at all. So what I'm going to look for next is revenue. Isn't that what we're all about right now? Isn't it revenue more than occupancy, more than your ADR, your average daily rate? It's all about how much am I going to make. So once you click on that, AirDNA is going to tell you the top markets. It's going to prioritize, starting with downtown Nashville, Germantown, and so on, the very best markets. Now, here's one more thing. Don't want to get into the weeds here, but it's important to not look at markets where you're not going to make money, right? So I don't look at markets less than $50,000. Anything less than $50,000, I'm just going to pass. And maybe Music Row, I kind of know that market. So if it's slightly above 50,000, sure. So now we're left with 8 cash flowing markets that look good in 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So let's just do the work. We're going to click on the first one in downtown Nashville. Now we're going to go down to revenue. What that means is this is the gross monthly revenue other 2-bedroom, 2-bath, mid-scale, upscale apartments or condos are making in this little neighborhood, downtown Nashville. When I say little, I'm talking relative to the city of Nashville. That's fantastic. This is very accurate data. Now, the next thing you want to do, 12 months is a good amount of data, 12 data points. We want more, right? So let's go for 24. You don't want 36 because now we're bumping up into that COVID travel patterns. We don't want that. So 24 months of data is fantastic. Now we're going to export that data to a spreadsheet. And then we're going to give it a second to populate. Open up the spreadsheet. I mean, you can see here how we can quickly, if I wasn't doing the instruction here, I could tear through all of these submarkets and find the quickest way to get to the cash flowing markets. Now, copy and paste this data, decimals and all, and then go over to your spreadsheet. I'm going to go over to my spreadsheet, which I pre-formatted here, copy and paste that. And now I've got an assessment. So in my pre-formatted spreadsheet, it tallies it 136,000. It adds another 25% because that's where we live. I'm actually in the top 10% of all the markets we operate in. Top 25% is very reasonable. I don't want to get sidetracked here, but here's a consideration. The average host on Airbnb is doing an awful job. They're not on page 1 or 2, most likely not even the first 4 pages, at least in Nashville. So the average data you're not going to need. So look at the top 25%. I personally look at the top 10% of the data. So we automatically add on 25 percentage points for all of our mentorship clients. So now we're looking at almost $170,000 in gross revenue over 24 months. Divide that by 24 months, we're now getting just under $7,100. That's what the gross monthly revenue other 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos or apartments are making in downtown Nashville. And you're like, okay, that's good. In fact, most people just look at the demand side. I always get, hey, where are the best Airbnb markets? And what people are asking is, where do Airbnbs make the most gross monthly revenue? And that's not the question you want to ask. That's half the question. The other half is, well, what's the cost of my supply? Even if I'm buying a property, I need to know how much it's going to cost me in my mortgage to be able to afford profit in that. And then when it comes to rents, my formula is I pay no more than half. I need a multiple of 2.0. So I like to double my rent in most markets. And believe it or not, the vast majority of most major markets, submarkets, don't 2x rent. And so therein lies a significant part of my formula, which is not just telling me I'm going to make money. So if I get it down to $3,500, so I can get rent under $3,500, which by the way is my maximum rent for this market. If I can get it under $3,500, it's telling me I'm going to make money. But you know what it's also telling me? It's telling me that landlords are in a pinch in this market because most markets don't 2x rent. And when rents are soft, vacancies are up. And if vacancies are up, you will get a more willing landlord to talk to because now they may need you. And by the way, that's a significant part of how I've acquired so many properties because I wait till dire times. During COVID in 2021 is when I acquired the vast majority of most of my properties. And I started up again halfway through last year, picked up 16 properties last year. 10 of them came inbound. And here we are again in 2024. We have a huge opportunity because interest rates are up and inflation is up. And because of that, occupancy is lower in most major cities, not everywhere. There's a tale of multiple cities in the United States. And so what we want to find through this quick and simple cash flow analysis is where are markets where the rents are half of what I can get on an Airbnb? Well, guess what? How do we determine what the median rent is in that market? So now that's where ChatGPT steps in. So here's a very simple command. What's the median rent for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment in the downtown Nashville neighborhood? It's going to give you the number. Now, that's not the special apartment. I want to show you something cool that I love about ChatGPT. If you keep open one thread, my next command, if I ask for a 1-bedroom, I could literally say 1 bedroom. I could literally say 1 bedroom, and it knows what I mean. It means I'm talking about the same market. I'm looking for an apartment. I'm looking for median rent, and it gives me that data. And I've cross-referenced for the last 6 weeks. I've tested this against Rentometer and all the other tools I use, and it gives me that. Well, the rents are pretty low there. So that's how I quickly determine. Now, I copy and paste that number, and I plop it right down here at 3420. And what is my cash flow analysis sheet tells me? It says, oh, you're going to make a multiple of 2.06, which is good. It's what I want. Now, that's my minimum. 2.0 is my minimum. When I say good, I don't mean great. Well, I think this is a great market is the fact that you're making over 7,000. Here's another consideration. I take no more. I don't look at markets less than 4,000. I personally don't look at markets less than 5,000, but I don't recommend anybody in my program take it under 4, preferably higher than 5. or ideally 6 or even 7,000. This market is definitely good because once you have a multiple of 2.0, you have a fat margin in there. So $3,500 is what you're left after paying rent, and about 20 to 25 experience percentage points for overhead, utilities, and software, and your permit. 20 to 25%, not turnover costs, not your supply costs, your guests pay for them. That's another video altogether. So it's 20 to 25% over the 10,000 reservations that I've hosted. That's the number that works for me. And so if you apply that, you're given an approximate net profit. And so your net profit's gonna be north of $3,000. That's great. You can actually afford furniture rental when it comes to that. Again, another video. So that is how I use ChatGPT and how I use AirDNA to quickly assess a market. Now I have a few more hacks on how I do this much, much quicker, how I ultimately will tear through all of those 7 submarkets of Nashville, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. And by the time I'm done in the morning, this takes me 30 minutes per day, I'm done. I'm left with a large body of work that is what I consider step 1 of market research. Step 1 is can our market cash flow. Step 2 is I find out what the law is there. I find out what the ordinance is there. Another video. And then step 3 is the final step that I use before pulling the trigger, signing off on a market, and going and getting myself a deal, which is I look qualitatively at the market. I look to see if there's work travel, business travel, and leisure travel. I require that. We're not in the vacation travel business. We're in the furnished housing business. So I depend on midterm rental travel, people coming to town for business, and 4 seasons of the 4 of people coming for leisure, for vacation. And so once I sign off on that, then it's just a matter of time before I get a deal, and I have another time-saving formula using hop hands and how I get there. Another video, but thanks for staying with me. If you like this and you want to learn more, I have a live 1-hour masterclass coming up. Click the link below and join me.